Hello, hello, welcome in, welcome in. Happy March Madness, everybody. I mean, we are, basically there. Had the first four last night. Good to see one go through the hoop early, right? With Texas money line or +1.5, I guess. Same thing, short spread. So good to see one go through the hoop there. And then we've got the real stuff starting tomorrow. Couple good games tonight, though, honestly. In the first four as well, we've got Lehigh going up against Prairie View A&M. And then the nightcap, SMU against Miami of Ohio. So a couple good games tonight. And then the real, just a little appetizer, the main course starts tomorrow around 12 Eastern. So we're going to just talk through final thoughts on stuff. We're going to fill out a bracket. If you guys have questions on anything, go ahead and ask. I do want to note once again, let me drop the link in the chat. We are doing a free bracket group for Rolling Insights. It's, not a lot of people in there. Obviously, we don't have that huge of a community right now. So we're going to see how many we can get in there. But we will be giving away a $100 gift card. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that pop in there. If you're on X, go over to the YouTube chat and grab that to join. It's on ESPN. If not, I'll tweet it out later tonight on my Twitter. But free bracket group via Rolling Insights. We're doing a $100 gift card giveaway. I don't know why my screen is so dark. I don't have my light on, so I don't feel like turning that on. So we're just going to roll with it. Okay. Also want to note, no ad whatsoever on this, but 365, the app, if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you're going to be placing wagers, 365 is doing a promo for the first round where if your pick goes up, if you take a team on the money line, take a team to win outright, if they go up by 10 points at any point, it will grade as a win regardless of what happens the rest of the game. So if you have access to them, I would say that's the best place to bet and make some picks for March Madness. Stuck between Houston and Illinois Final Four. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. All right, so kind of just like higher level thoughts on stuff. I think there's some edges to be had. So if you read my blog, which I have up right now, kind of went through what I normally do, using the pick percentage stuff to our advantage. I do want to double check that pick percentage because now that, when I first looked at it, when I wrote the blog, and then when I went on the video with Travis on Monday, I wanted to see where stuff has kind of finalized a little bit. Mike, what's up? I can see, yeah, Florida's on my list of teams. I don't know if I'll have them in any of my brackets, but or bets, but yeah, Florida's definitely on the list of teams that can repeat. If their guards were better, I would be probably all in on them, Mike. I just have concerns. Like their guards have been inconsistent enough. It's like it's tough for me to think they can play really good for 6 games in a row to go win the national title again. But I like Xavier Lee as a player, like him particularly. But we'll see what happens. I don't hate that pick whatsoever. So right now it looks like Duke's still the overwhelming favorite to win it all in terms of the picks on Yahoo Sports, coming in just under 29% picked. Arizona at just under 22%, Michigan at 14%. And then we drop down to Florida at 6, Houston 5, UConn 3, Purdue 3, Iowa State 2, etc. So I think right now, Michigan looks like the best pick overall if you want to build your bracket backwards. I think Michigan looks like the best pick right now because when I look at it, no matter what projection system I look at, no matter what betting odds I look at, it's very clear there's a big 3 in terms of the probabilities to win this tournament, that being Arizona, Duke, and Michigan. Yet Michigan is getting picked just significantly lower, right? I would say in terms of most projection systems I've looked at, they're just within a couple percentage of each other, Duke, Zona, and Michigan. But you're getting Michigan at 14% picked in comparison to Arizona, who's 7% picked higher, and then Duke is, well over 10. So Michigan looks like the best pick to me if you're playing a larger pool, bigger pool. I have only taken 3 outrights to win it all. Houston, you guys know the story there. I don't think Houston's going to win the title this year. They're on my list of teams that can. I don't think they're going to, but if they did win the national title this year and I didn't have a bet on them, I would never forgive myself. So we have Michigan 13-1. I have Purdue 25-1. Wish I would have taken this a few weeks ago because there were some really good numbers hanging out there. There was some 45s and 50s hanging around just a couple weeks ago. So I wish I would have got in on that. But yeah. So I have Houston 13-1. I have Purdue 25-1, and then I just took one yesterday afternoon. FanDuel is hanging a bad number on this, in my opinion. If you look at DraftKings or basically any other provider, it's basically cut in half. I took UConn to win the national title 40-1 on FanDuel, hanging a big number on the Huskies. They're like 25-1 everywhere else, 25 or 30. So I thought 40-1 was a little high. Again, I don't really think UConn's going to win, but they're on my list of teams that can. They certainly can get deep in the tournament. And if I'm sitting there with a 40-1 on them later on in the tournament, it's going to be really easy to hedge that. And then, we also could get lucky and maybe they get in the national title. I mean, they're still a very good team. We know Dan Hurley has the pedigree, right? So, yeah, I thought 40-1 on UConn was a little bit insane. So those are the only 3 national title futures I've taken. I don't see a ton of value on the board outside of them right now. Duke sitting at 4-1, Arizona plus 380, Michigan plus 380. Like I said, the betting odds have these teams basically rated out exactly the same. So I find it very interesting that Michigan is getting much lower picked than them. I also have a Florida from like a few weeks ago, but yeah, I'm not really giving that out because I don't know how many of you took that, and I didn't like officially post it. But if you watch the stream, you remember when I took that. But win or loss, I can't really credit that. Yeah, none of these other numbers really stick out to me. Illinois is a little interesting, but again, just haven't played well down the stretch. So do I trust them to play 6 good games in a row? I don't know. I do want to note, though, I said this on the video on Monday. I totally understand weighing these teams that aren't playing good coming into the tournament, but at the same time, it's tough for me to take that into account too much. Because these teams, like, when you get late in conference play, and we see this in the Big East and in the Big Ten too, like, these teams just know each other so well. Like, I don't know if I expect that to continue playing other teams, right? Like, I don't know if Illinois is going to struggle as much as they have playing other teams than they have just playing the same Big Ten teams over and over again. So, I don't really know how to evaluate that. But other than that, let's kind of dive in here. That's my thoughts on champion picks. And then we'll kind of dive into the bracket here. If you guys have any champions that you like, drop it in the chat. If you have any futures you like, drop it in the chat, to make Sweet 16 Elite 8. I have some of those that I've taken as well. A couple teams that I think are underseeded and kind of have some pretty good paths to at least get deep in the bracket, even though I don't think that they're going to go on and win it all. I'm going to switch over. I don't want to switch to this because the screen is so dark. So let me see. Let me try Yahoo. Let's see if we can make a Yahoo bracket and just Just fill it out. Here we go. Let's try this. And then there's also UNC before Wilson. Yeah, for sure. Just really tough, especially UNC and Texas Tech are two that stick out. I mean, Gonzaga's dealing with some injuries. There's some other teams too. A little uncertainty with Duke, obviously. Little uncertainty with UCLA, but UNC losing Wilson and Texas Tech losing Toppin is just like super unfortunate. I don't know why this is making me do this to sign up. And then let me know in the chat any upsets you like round one. I'm curious. I have a couple plays. I took a ton of bets for round one. I have a couple plays that I'll give out at the end for tomorrow. But let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, let me let's pull the bracket up and we'll kind of go through. Starting off in the East. Let me zoom in a little bit also. Starting off in the East, obviously, I think Duke is the ones are all going to win, so we can just pencil that in right now. And I honestly think we can pencil in the twos also. I don't see any of them losing, at least in the first round. How many units on round one? I have quite a bit. Let's see. One. So you know how I usually bet to win 1 unit unless otherwise noted. So 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 5.5, 6, 8, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11, 12.5, 13.5. I think like 16 right now. Quite a bit. There's a lot of stuff I like. Usually I don't have that many plays in different games, but there's quite a few spots that I liked. And then, future stuff as well. Yeah, quite a bit. You can knock it down and go half on each. I mean, I honestly probably should have did that myself, but I'm excited. All right, so ones and twos are all through. My take on the East on Monday was this region's filled with like blue blood teams, right? Kansas, Duke, UConn, Michigan State, UCLA to a lesser extent, St. John's to a lesser extent. Even though that's the case, I don't know how hard this sets up for Duke, in my opinion. I do think TCU, should they win, could give Duke a game, but I feel pretty good about Duke at least getting to the Sweet 16. And then the same can be said for UConn. I think UConn's a little bit undervalued here. I really like how this sets up for them. UCLA is a popular sleeper Cinderella team pick. They've played very, very well recently. The problem is I honestly like UCF against them in the first round. I'm not going to pick UCF to win, but I think UCF could give them a game. Like there's definitely potential UCLA goes down here. I would take UConn pretty comfortably over UCLA, but a lot of people think UCLA can make a deep run, even maybe go to the Final Four. So that's not one of the sleepers on my board, but there are some people that I respect that feel that way. But I feel pretty comfortable, honestly, about this path for UConn. I think TCU is a tough matchup for Ohio State. I think Northern Iowa can give St. John's some problems. I don't really think St. John's is like equipped for a deep tournament run, just how they play. Like they're just not good enough offensively for me. But that's my opinion. Kansas, I don't know. I feel weird about Kansas, right? So I wrote in my blog, if you look at shot quality, they actually had Kansas with a losing record. So they've played well above their heads. They do have Darren Peterson, who can completely take over a game, right? Going to be a top 2 pick in the NBA draft. But I don't really feel comfortable taking them on like a deep run. And I don't feel comfortable about St. John's either. So this is like a weird little quadrant for me. A lot of people are taking South Florida over Louisville, which I understand. especially with no Michael Brown. We got that like confirmation, but I'm fine just taking Louisville. Yeah, Michigan State, no problem there. So really, this is like what to do. Like, I think Northern Iowa's live. Do I want to take that in a bracket? Not particularly. Just saw that notification from Underdog. T.Y. Hilton announced his retirement. Like, did anybody know that he wasn't already retired? I mean, when was the last time T.Y. Hilton played football? I mean, it's been quite some time. There's probably like kids that regularly watch football that never even saw T.Y. Hilton play. So I don't know when the last time he played was. Good to get that confirmed, though, from him. Yeah, when was his last season, though? I don't even know. So look. And he was solid, but let's see. His last season was it was 2022, I guess. So, but no, it really wasn't. It was really 2021. He played 10 games in 2021. He signed with the Cowboys in 2022. He only played in 3 games, caught 7 passes. I don't really even count that. All right. I don't know. I'm gonna think about this for a second and come back to it. Let's bounce over to the West here. Do not like Arizona. You guys know that. When he converted a 3rd and 30 on us against Slay. Oh my God. Mike, did he do that in a Cowboys Eagles game? Is that actual? Oh my God. If so, that's hilarious because that's literally the last time that he played. But that's so funny that you remember that. 3rd and 30. You guys know I hate Arizona. They've been very good this year, dominant, but they don't shoot enough threes for me. So I don't. That's why I don't really want to pick them to win it all, especially if they're being like really, really high picked. But they look really good. I can't deny it. So I feel pretty comfortable, obviously taking them there. I think Purdue just got such a good draw. It's another reason why I like Purdue so much. I'm going to take Missouri over Miami, even if Miami moves on. They're super athletic. Like, definitely would win that department against Purdue. But I don't see either of these teams being able to take Purdue. I think Purdue has a pretty easy path to the Sweet 16. And then it's like, who do they play here, right? So, yeah. Arkansas, I love as a 4 seed. You guys know we bet them to win the SEC tournament. They did at 6-1. I'm on them again for some futures to move on. I will take them even over Wisconsin. I feel like we're going to get this Arizona-Arkansas matchup, right? I think Utah State is going to body Villanova. That's one of my favorite round 1 bets. I know the Mountain West struggles in the tournament. I don't care. Utah State is underseeded, one of the most underseeded teams in the tournament, in my opinion. I think Utah State is much, much better than a 9 seed, and I think they're going to smoke Villanova. So I like Utah State over Villanova in round 1. That's one of my favorite bets there. I honestly think Utah State can give Arizona a game. I'm not going to pick them, but I do think they can give Arizona some problems. I think that'd be a really fun matchup to watch. BYU is only a 1.5 point favorite over Texas. I can see both sides of it. I don't think BYU is good. I've been down on them for the last month. I think Texas matches up decently well against them, but at the same time, Debanza can just take over and kind of lead them on a little run. That's a really tricky quadrant as well. I'm going to take Gonzaga there. Like, I could see BYU getting to play Purdue. I could see Gonzaga getting to play Purdue. I could see Texas getting to play Purdue. Really, really could. That's a tough quadrant right there. High Point is live against Wisconsin, in my opinion. I'm not going to pick it, but I do think they're live in that game. This is a crime that this is a second-round game. I think Wisconsin-Arkansas probably will be the best game of round 2 if we get that matchup. Definitely 2 teams that should not be facing off in the second round, but that's kind of how it worked out. I'm going to take Arkansas over them, but should be a really, really fun game. And Wisconsin's really been good at punching at or above their weight. They've been very good against good teams this year. So that's just going to be a really fun matchup. I know Coach Cal's let us down quite a bit in the tournament, but this is my favorite team that he's had in quite some time, probably since some of those Kentucky teams when I was in high school. I think This team's really good, and Acuff is just an absolute baller. Like, there's nobody in this tournament I would want on my team more than Acuff. So I think Arizona, Arkansas would be awesome. Feel comfortable about Purdue getting here, honestly, too. So it just kind of comes down to who they're going to play. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Midwest seems like the chalkiest region to me. I just don't like a lot of these mid seeds in terms of making a run. I would love Texas Tech if they were fully healthy with Toppin to maybe spoil some stuff. But other than that, I mean, just nothing is good. Like Tennessee, I think, is not good as a 6 seed. And then I like Virginia and Iowa State, but they're going to match up down here. So I don't really know. Probably, I guess, take St. Louis there. I don't know. But Michigan is just going to walk to the Final Four, I think. They ran super pure with their draw. I don't think Kentucky's even going to win a game again. Iowa State versus Virginia is – I could see SMU beating Tennessee, to be honest with you, assuming that SMU wins tonight. They're pretty big favorites. But I think this is a lock to happen. And yeah, I actually do, Ryan. I think I think I might bet that Texas Tech to the Sweet 16. People are down on them. They've still played well without Toppin. They're still very good. I don't even think Alabama's going to win round one. Everyone's picking Akron over Texas Tech, so I don't like to take the chalky upset pick there anyways. But I just don't even think Akron's a good matchup. They're super high variance, right? Because they're going to shoot a ton of threes, but I don't think they're a great matchup for Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech can just do what they do a little bit better. So I'm completely comfortable taking Texas Tech to the Sweet 16, and I wanted to check the odds on that. I'm kind of curious. Let's see. Sweet 16, Texas Tech. Plus 135 on FanDuel. Let me check DraftKings and see what that's at. At plus money, I might nibble on that. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's see. DraftKings has it at plus 115. So once again, you're getting better odds on FanDuel, plus 135. Yeah, I might take a little bite on that Texas Tech Sweet 16. But yeah, I don't know about this game. This is a really fun game. I like both these teams. I'll probably just take Iowa State, but that one can go either way, to be honest with you. I like both those teams quite a bit. But this is like the chalkiest region to me. I'm going to take Hofstra just to have some fun. And since it's my favorite round one upset. And everyone jumped on the bandwagon once we got that Holloway news, but I tweeted that on – you can go timestamp that. That was Sunday night. I said Hofstra is set up the best for a round one upset. All right, and then moving over to the South, this is where things get really crazy because I think Florida's vulnerable because of the guard play. I think Houston's vulnerable. Illinois is vulnerable just because of how they've played recently. Nebraska's super vulnerable as a 4. They've never even won a tournament game. And then I think Vandy's underseeded as a 5. So I definitely like some futures on Vandy. I would be interested in taking Vandy to the Final Four, honestly. I think they can beat Florida again if they match up. If I'm playing like a regular just main type bracket, I'll probably just go with Houston or Illinois. But I do think Vandy's live. If you're in a really large field pool, or if you're in a bracket pool where you get rewarded for the seed number, like upsets and stuff, I'd be comfortable taking Vandy to the Final Four in that instance. I think Illinois is probably the best pick, though, to get to the Final Four from this group. I think St. Mary's could give Houston a game, but again, it's kind of similar where I think those two teams are similar and Houston's just better at everything. So I'm probably going to take – VCU is going to beat North Carolina also. That's like – I would say Utah State and VCU are my favorite round one bets. I love both of those. And I like Vandy. I think Vandy can smoke McNeese also. So I'm comfortable laying a big number there. But I'm probably going to take Illinois, I guess, to the Final Four. I don't know, man. It's going to be probably Vandy or Illinois, to be quite honest with you. I like Vandy. I have futures on them, though, so we can just do this. So we've got Illinois and Michigan currently, and this is all filled out. I'm going to take UConn here. We can take them over Duke since we have no reason to get too crazy. I do think Northern Iowa is live for an upset. But I'll take St. John's. I mean, could St. John's beat Duke, honestly? This would just be so fun to get this rematch again. I might do that just for the memes. If I'm going to take Duke to lose anyways, I'm going to take Louisville over Michigan State, to be quite honest with you, too. Louisville's the team everyone just seems super down on, but I still think they're capable of beating Michigan State. Sorry, Matt or Dom, if you guys are watching this. Apologies. But I'm going to take Louisville. So UConn over Louisville would just be so fun to get a St. John's UConn rematch, especially this far with a trip to the Final Four on the line. So I'm gonna match that up. So we've got UConn, Illinois, Michigan. Man. It's so tough, bro. I mean, in a bracket pool like this, you're probably better off just taking Arizona there. But I think Arkansas and Purdue are very, very live for upsets here. If you're playing in a smaller field thing, I would probably take Arizona here. Just take Michigan over Arizona. If you're playing in a larger field pool or something that rewards upsets, like I said, I would be fine doing this and then picking a team here. I really feel strong about how Purdue's playing, and then same thing with Arkansas. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, this would just be really fun. And then this still gives you like a pretty low, right? We're at 5, like combined 10 for your seeds of the Final Four. Or you can do that and it's still a 1, 2, 2, and a 3. I'll do this for now, but yeah, I really like Arkansas and Purdue in this West. As far as who's going to play Purdue, I'm going to take Texas over BYU. And I'll just take Gonzaga, I guess, but I don't know. I don't really care about that. Really, what's important is having your champion alive. I feel really good about UConn in the East, to be honest, Mike. I know like that's not the popular take. Let me see if I can find pick percentage. Where did I put that at? Let's look it up again. So right now, to go to the round of 8. Let's see, round of 4. I think that's so. This is to win their first round, win second round, win the Sweet 16. They're like 50-50 right now in terms of picks to win their Sweet 16 game. To get to the Final Four, 13%, right? We're getting 63% of those picks are Duke. And then they're at 13% and Michigan State is at 10%. So there's not even like a big gap between those two. So this is definitely not the consensus pick whatsoever, but I like UConn coming out of the East. I honestly probably take him to the national championship. This would be an ideal for me because we have a really nice, if we actually got this would just be one of the greatest nights of the year because we have a nice, tasty 40-1 on UConn. We have Michigan in all our brackets. Like, God, it's just like a nice win-win scenario. It would just be awesome. But yeah, that's what I have right now. Like I said, you can change your bracket up a little bit. Make it however you want. I like Michigan as my favorite champion pick overall. I'm just not going to bet them at 3-1 to win a national championship, though. So I'm going to use them in the brackets. And then my title futures, Houston, Purdue, and UConn. I like Arkansas has value for tournament run. I think Vandy has value for a tournament run. I think either Virginia or Iowa State probably good value. I think Illinois probably good value. But Vandy and Arkansas are my two favorites, and Purdue to kind of ladder up. And UConn, honestly. You're getting 6-1 odds on UConn to make the Final Four. Does that not sound insane to you? First of all, they're a 2 seed. Second of all, it's UConn. Like, if they not won 2 national titles in the last 3 years, like, we're going to hang 6-1 on them. And they got a lot of good, like, they can shoot the three. They have decent enough guard play. We know they're well coached. 6-1 to make the Final Four seems insane to me. So I'll say Vandy, Arkansas, Purdue, and UConn for future stuff looks the best to me. Yeah, Duke banged up like that. I do think that can come back to bite them, Mike. Like, no Caleb Foster. If they get just for an example, like if we did get a Duke St. John's, and it's why I'm comfortable picking them over them, even though I don't even like I'm not in love with the St. John's team or anything. But if we got a Duke St. John's matchup, and even at TCU, like TCU can give Duke problems of how they defend guards, and they're missing Caleb Foster. Like, that is a big difference for me if they get in a matchup against TCU, if they get in a matchup against St. John's. Like, St. John's could really give them fits. And the same can be said, honestly, even for UConn. Like, if we got a Duke UConn matchup, I would be fine. You know, I'd feel okay about our UConn stuff. So that's kind of my thoughts there. If you join late, though, I'll maybe tweet out my bracket or something later. Free bracket pool. There's a lot of people in here now. Free bracket pool via Rolling Insights. We're doing a $100 gift card giveaway to first place. It's free to enter. I will tweet the link out later. If you're in our Discord, you can find the link in there as well. 100% free $100 gift card giveaway. No reason not to join that. Toss a bracket in there and, see what happens. Good luck. I will, I've already, posted all picks and all that stuff. I'll tweet out some bets throughout the tournament. I'll tweet out some of my favorite futures tonight also. Best time of the year, best 4 days of the year coming up. Super excited. So good luck with your bets, your brackets, all that good stuff. Tomorrow I'll be live afternoon with Steve. So I'm sure we'll be live watching games and reacting to stuff. But yeah, good luck, everybody. If I don't win my pools, I hope you guys do. And I'll see everybody tomorrow.